Hey folks, David Stewart here. I'm about 24 hours away from the release of my second book on the Amazon Kindle platform, Prophet of the God Seed. You can find the relevant links down below. It's a nice little hard sci-fi tale. Please pre-order it if you're seeing this in time, and if not, go ahead and buy the live version. That's one of the best ways that you could support this channel. It's 99 cents, and I'm really appreciative of those who read it. And if you do read it, please let me know what you think about it and show me a little love. But today, I want to talk shop a little bit with those of you that are writers and introduce you to a couple of ideas that I'm working with my brother-in-law, and also to plug some of my best friend Matt Wellman's work, and he's also my brother-in-law. So full nepotism mode engaged as I'm plugging and promoting this particular work. Here it is, Cloaked in Darkness. First part of Children of Asilia, that's what the series is called, and Matthew J Wellman, that's the author. Great little cover that he designed here, very striking and works pretty well. And I'm promoting this, and I am plugging it not just because I'm a nepotistic bastard, but of course I am that as well, but because I genuinely like this story, and I like what it does for its length, and I like what it does in relation to its series, and I like what it does possibly on the Kindle platform, and what it means for marketing and building like an author platform on Amazon. So I want to talk about all of those and see if Matt's sort of doing a little bit different strategy than what a lot of people do, if that's something that we can learn from or what we could take away from it. And of course, we'll know how successful it is like this time next year. I'll report back. We'll see, did this marketing strategy, was it really successful? Did it not work out? Because even when you fail at something, you can learn something from that failure. So here it is, Cloaked in Darkness. It is 99 cents on Amazon, so please show him a little love and go pick it up. And I do have a giveaway that'll be linked down below, so you can have a chance of just getting it for free, no risk involved. All you have to do is follow me on Amazon to get a chance of doing that. But I want to talk about some of the specifics of what this book does as an intro to a series from a writer's perspective, and also what it can do from a marketing perspective as well. So the first thing is, this is a rather short work, right? It's like a novella length, and if you look at it, it'll say length about 41 pages. That's like a novella. It's much longer than what a typical short story would be, but it's obviously shorter than what a full-length novel would be. So it's kind of in that middle territory. But that's not a bad thing, because if you are good at telling a story efficiently and in a compact style, 41 pages is a lot of pages to tell a good story. And in this case, it's told with a fairly compact style. However, it's still pretty modern. So if you like the modern style that has a lot of detail, there's a lot of detail here, but intermixed within that detail is a lot of the exposition that you require to really understand how the universe works. So in that little 41 pages, which is a nice quick read, and I do think it's appropriately priced at 99 cents. Those of you are always telling me my books are too cheap at 99 cents. Yeah, I know. And so this is really a more appropriate price for this sort of length of book, 99 cents. What it does well, and I'll say this from a writer's perspective, what it really does well is it introduces those three big things that I'm always talking about on this channel. Setting, characters, and plot. So setting, characters, and plot. So the setting, it really gives you a great snapshot of the setting. And as you are watching the action take place, intermixed with the action are a lot of the sketches of the details of how the whole setting, how the whole universe, this fantasy universe works. And it is a high fantasy novel, in case you couldn't guess by the cover. So it's a fantasy novel. So it's exposing everything that you need to know in the universe to really know what's going on. What races there are, and there's some unique races. You see humans and one other unique race in this particular version. It exposes the large-scale conflict as well as the antagonist. So you have an introduction to two really interesting characters, and a third one that's going to, I believe, be one of the primary antagonists for the entire series. You have the large conflict. There's the plot part. You have the conflict for the entire series that's exposed as well. So for the entire big plot arc of all the little books that are going to make up this particular series, you have characters established that you care about, and you care about their goals and their outcomes. You have a setting that I think is by itself extremely interesting, and I want to know more about it. That's one of the reasons I'm plugging this, is I want Matt to write more of these so that I can know more about his setting. And then you also have a bit of the plot exposed. And even within this rather short novella, or no, it's not short novella, but short novel, whatever you want to call it. Within this short work, there is a plot all of its own with a strong tension, specific plot goals, great amounts of uncertainty as to whether those plot goals will be achieved, and a strong finish as well. So it does that really well. So within the book, you have a great little plot, and that plot will also hint at a much larger arc yet to come. So I think that does really well. I think it's a great opener for a series. And from a marketing perspective, that's a really good thing. You want people to want to read more of it. You want them to read it and be like, when's the next one coming out? So that there's a lot of reader interest, and you can build on that. Another thing about the length is that people often have a much easier time reading something that's short and sweet than they do reading something that's very long. There's a lot of people who've probably started my book but haven't finished it, at least Muramasa, because Muramasa's fairly long. It's not the longest book ever, but it's longer than a typical first novel would be. And that's gonna, some people are just, they're gonna get fatigued and put a book down. If you're writing something that's well over the 100,000 word mark, you're gonna find that some people are gonna have reader's fatigue. But at about 20,000 words, you're not really going to have the reader fatigue, which means people are going to complete the work and want to see the next one. That's a really, really good thing. The strategy for publishing this series that Matt really sort of came up with, and I think it's quite interesting, and I may want to try it with something that I do within this next year, and I already have stuff in my mind for what that'll be, is rather than writing and writing and writing till you get a really long epic fantasy novel and then trying to push it at whatever price you can on Amazon, you sell it as novellas that are smaller that make up the whole at 99 cents a piece, because once you sort of get people going in that series, and you can promote it for free for a while, or do lots of things like that. People are going to keep wanting to buy that next book in the series. Once you've really completed the big plot arc, then you collect them all into one volume, and then you sell that book for $6.99, $7.99 on Kindle. And of course, you can market it as like volumes 1 through 10, which communicates a lot of value to your customer, communicates a lot of value to anyone that might be wanting to get into it. They're like, oh, I get all the books at once. That's awesome. I love digging into longer fantasy series, and they're going to feel pretty satisfied getting what they consider value. So there's a lot of things that go into marketing. Giving people value is a big one, and I think that this strategy will not only allow Matt to give his readers value, and at least the perception of value, but also to give them a lot of content. Another thing that will help with the marketing is that it's better to, on your Amazon author page, at least this is what I've gathered, is that consumer confidence, part of building consumer confidence is having a proven track record. So if you have a lot of stuff that has already come out and been reviewed and has been around for a while, this obviously doesn't have any reviews because it just came out, and I am going to be giving away some copies. So if you get a copy, please read it and just drop a quick review, say that you liked it or didn't like it, or whatever you feel about it. But having reviews gives a lot of legitimacy. Having a lot of books also gives legitimacy. So when you click on something on Amazon, you see that person's written like 5 other books and they're all pretty highly rated. That instills in you as a consumer, like, maybe I really want to take a chance on this, because that's what you're trying to do. Whenever you're building a relationship with somebody, building a relationship with a customer, whether it's in books or it's in any other market, you're really trying to convince them to take a chance on what you're offering, because there's always risk involved that what they buy will not be what they want, or it's not going to work for them, and you're just trying to get them to overcome their risk aversion. That's like a big part of marketing. So I think selling something for 99 cents kind of helps with that. 99 cents is not a big risk. There's also not a feeling like they have to commit to something long to read. 41 pages is not a big commitment. I think it kind of cues into both of those things and will work out well for that. And of course, we have a very appealing cover, which helps to market the book. You want your cover to be like a good advertisement for the book to get people to want to click on it and see what you have to offer before buying it. So overall, I like it as a story because it makes me want to read more of them. And of course, as an author, I'm interested in anything that makes people want to read more of my stuff. So I want to be able to duplicate some of those good qualities. And as a person who is trying to self-publish, I think this might be an interesting strategy. And so those of you that are in the self-publishing world, that may be something that you consider for a series, is rather than writing these really big honking novels and hoping to sell them, and understanding that 99 cents is not enough of a price to really meet the size of the work, you break it up into those smaller plot portions and sell those for 99 cents, and then you can assemble them later. And then lastly, the last benefit, and I've said this benefit about running my website, is that when you come out with something on like an update schedule, and I publish all my books on my website first, usually in a serial format, one update a day. That forces me to have a certain amount of output going, at least 1,000 words a day, because I have to publish something on my website the next day, which keeps you productive. So if you know that you have to come out with the next one of these, if you're going to come out with one a month, let's say, kind of like a comic book, and this does kind of look a bit like a manga to me. Does kind of invoke some manga thoughts. But if you have this idea, like I'm going to come out with one a month, and you have a good mailing list, you have a good relationship with your fans, you're gonna push yourself to come out with that one a month. It's going to keep you productive, keep you working on the story. I think there's a lot of benefits to that. So please let me know what you think about it down below. What you think about that particular strategy. May try it out. I may try it out myself to see how it works. See if it helps build that author platform. See if it engages fans. If it engages new readers, if it convinces people to overcome that risk aversion and take a chance on something that they haven't read yet. So I will, of course, keep you informed on that strategy and how it's working. And please let me know what your strategy might be about this, or what you think about this particular strategy if you're interested in trying it out. And lastly, I am giving away 5 copies of this book. They will be chosen at random from people who follow me as an author on Amazon, not Matt, because Matt doesn't have his author page set up. So I'll do another giveaway where you could follow him on Amazon and, I don't know, get one of my books or something. So we'll cross-pollinate the whole thing. But please check it out. Cloak of Darkness by Matt Wellman. And in case you were wondering, Matt Wellman also was the co-creator of Deep Time, the universe that Prophet of the Godseed takes place in. So we co-created that universe. We created it together originally as a visual media. We imagined it as like a TV series or like a series of movies, and we worked really hard on developing that before we kind of got some good advice out of the industry that was like, you can't just start with the TV series. You know, it's not going to happen. There's too many 50-year-old executive producers that have TV series that they want to make, and it's not an established IP and all these sorts of things. So we figured out that it wasn't worth the effort to like go writing a bunch of movies in this particular universe, but we did some writing in it, and I still had lots of stories that I wanted to tell. Matt, I think, had stories that he wanted to tell in it, and I think, include one of his short stories as bonus content in Prophet of the Godseed. So if you want a little glimpse of what my counterpart, what his vision of that universe is, it's a little bit different than mine. I'll probably include that. If not, on release, I'll include it in a future version, and if you buy it now, of course, you're going to get it in the future version. You just update the file, and you're going to get that bonus content as well. But yeah, he created that with me, so he's deep in my creative mind as well, and I'm interested to see what he does with this particular fantasy universe, which is one of the reasons that I'm promoting it. It's not just because I'm a nepotist, but so be it. You guys have a great day. Please pre-order Prophet of the Godseed if you feel so inclined to support the channel, and I would, of course, be very appreciative of that and any feedback that you want to give me on that as well. I will see you next time, and you guys have a great evening, day, or whenever you happen to be watching this video.